Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. I was right. Last episode was a banger, both to make and to listen to, apparently. So what's next? We're going to finish out the intermission, and whatever I don't cover here will get covered during Phase 3. This is Naruto after all. I can't exactly go without flashbacks now, can I? Most everyone will have something new to show off, so you won't be disappointed. As to the last episode, we ended with the Uzumaki Clan showing up at the end. They were called on weeks ago and never came. Was there a reason for being late, or did they never receive the summons? Oh, I also tried my hand at AI generation for the characters that don't exist in canon. This is just an experiment so far, and we'll see how it goes. On with the show. Jiraiya is the first to arrive and receive the arriving Uzumaki Clan. At the head of the clan is their leader, Aki Uzumaki. He's imposing, standing at an incredible height even above Jiraiya, in addition to his great mane of red hair that runs down his back. But he also seems gentle, with a small smile and soft blue eyes, and arms tucked into his robes. He greets Jiraiya with familiarity, and Jiraiya greets him in kind. The first thing he asks is where Minato is, as it's been nearly 10 years since they've come around. Jiraiya tells him Minato will surely be there soon enough, as one of his Jonin assistants will have alerted him. Of course, the clan couldn't have arrived at a more opportune time, but Jiraiya waits for Minato to convey that. Being an inherently nomadic clan, it's no surprise that children are running around playing as if they hadn't just finished a long journey. Jiraiya asks where they came from this time, and he laughs as he points at a group of children who are dueling with puppets and reveals from the far reaches of the Land of Wind. So much desert for so long, everyone's just relieved at the change of climate. In a quick poof, Minato arrives alongside Naruto and Orochimaru, and attention shifts. Roaring with excitement at Minato, the leader cheers his arrival. "Hello, Aki," Minato greets monotonously, unfortunately not so glad at the Uzumaki's late arrival. They got the letter of summons, but they were just so far away, they couldn't make the trip in a reasonable amount of time. That's the way it goes sometimes. Minato immediately invites him to his office for a private conversation, but Aki refuses and tells him to come to his tent instead. As they walk through camp, Naruto marvels at the sea of red hair. Even the old men still have brilliant red hair. Noticing his gawking, Aki asks Naruto what it feels like to be amongst his own blood. The prospect overwhelms Naruto, as he's only ever known his dad as family. The Uzumaki clan visited once while he was very young, but the memory was blurry. He thought that in the memory they were reinforcing his seal, but Orochimaru had already claimed that it was impossible to augment the Reaper Death Seal. Naruto asks why his hair isn't red if he's an Uzumaki. Aki tells him that the Uzumaki bloodline is very strong. So much so that an Uzumaki never loses the color in the hair, for so long as they shall live. The men also never go bald, so it is culturally shameful to have no hair, and anyone like this often wears wigs to avoid ridicule. Disappointed, Naruto supposes that he'll never be welcome with the clan then. Aki laughs at the assumption and tells Naruto that he's very clearly an Uzumaki, and anyone can see it from a mile away, even without the red hair. He suggests that the famed Namikaze clan may just be a stronger bloodline yet. In talking of the Leaf's great families, Aki also tells Minato that at least one of his number wishes to stay in Konoha after they leave and try it living in one place. It's a sort of stationary pilgrimage, if you will. Minato nods and assures him that's a welcome prospect, but their concerns are great and he can't afford to be distracted right now. Finally arriving at Aki's tent, the group shuffles inside, except for Jiraiya, who keeps an eye outside, just in case. Aki asks what the great concern is, and Minato reveals the mistake they made with reinforcing the Reaper Death Seal. Aki calls for Jiraiya to retrieve the Master of Seals, as he also explains to them the folly of their decision. The Reaper Death Seal relies on the life force of that who cast it. It has no time limit, and nothing can weaken it. At least nothing should weaken it. The most knowledgeable minds in the world would not be of help for this seal. However, when it comes to removing a reinforcement over top the seal, Aki believes they can safely weaken it until it collapses on itself and leaves the Reaper Death seal unmarked. But it will take time, 2, maybe 3 weeks, so that Naruto's body and chakra aren't strained too much. Naruto complains at the time it could take, since he needs to be training for the Chunin exams. He says that all his life, all anyone has ever told him that he has an inhumane amount of chakra at his disposal. Surely that doesn't count for nothing. Upon hearing this, Aki shakes his head and tells him he'll be missing the Chunin exams, as this is just so much more important. And no matter how great his personal chakra, the fox's chakra eclipses his several times over. That's why they have to do this in steps. Distraught with the news, Naruto looks to his dad for some defense, and Minato indeed tells Aki that Naruto cannot skip the Chunin exams. They're about to take the war to the land of Earth, and they can't leave their Jinchuriki behind for that sake. If Naruto remains a genin, he'll be relegated to town until their war passes. There are too many factors relying on all of the genin not only attending, but passing these exams. Aki shrugs and tells Minato that if he doesn't care for his son's well-being, then he can ultimately do whatever he wants. Orochimaru butts in and tells Aki that they're known for seals, but they didn't create the Reaper Death seal. If they can help, that is information that would need to be passed on to the Leaf. The last thing they need is for the Nine Tails to free itself and kill everyone. Aki grimaces and leans back, citing that he is willing to share the information, but that he needs something in return. When Minato and Orochimaru ask for the price, Aki shrugs again and tells them that it's unimportant to him exactly what, but that he'd require knowledge of one of the Leaf's jutsus in exchange. Orochimaru curses him and tells him that the Reaper Death Seal is an invention of the Leaf, and by the Leaf. Aki has no right withholding the relevant information. Aki disregards Orochimaru's rudeness and acknowledges for everyone's safety, Naruto's seal needs to be dealt with immediately. The tent entrance flap waves and in enters the Master of Seals. Aki refers to the young woman only as Young Master, as if she held an equal or higher seat to himself. I specifically designed her to have her shoulders exposed because she's supposed to be covered in glyph-like tattoos, but the AI generator didn't seem to understand what a tattoo is. Upon conveying their information to her, she asks to see Naruto's seal firsthand and clicks her tongue at what she says is a clear clash of seal types. Orochimaru nods impatiently, annoyed that everyone's just repeating the same information over and over. Aki explains that the Uzumaki Clan elect one of their own generationally to master seals and hold all their knowledge. Seals are too powerful to be open knowledge in case there's ever a traitor among them. Minato looks up at him and tells him they have to talk about that too, as he thinks an Uzumaki helped the Land of Earth attempt to occupy the Land of Grass. The young Master of Seals tells them that in order for her to weaken the reinforcing seal, she has to add a third, weaker seal on top of it. In the short term, Naruto will start feeling very weak as his body will begin to exert chakra to keep a balance on the seals. She describes it like fasting. It won't kill Naruto, but it'll make him weak, irritable, and leave him in a state of craving chakra. You can't eat chakra like you can food though, so the craving for him will be directionless. It will be an unpleasant experiment, and that's just the first step of weakening the incompatible seal. She could remove it altogether, but the polarizing forces of chakra in that case could potentially kill Naruto. It's too much of a chakra drain. Minato asks Naruto if he's prepared for this, and Naruto's still in his slump about potentially missing the Chunin exams. Minato tells him he won't be disqualified until the last possible second, so it's in his best interest to get the process started as soon as possible. Naruto tells his dad that he owes him and agrees to the procedure's start. Meanwhile, Tsunade arrives beside Jiraiya outside the tent and asks him if Minato's inside. She tells him while they wait that Fugaku's son approached her for training, to Jiraiya's shock. He didn't realize he'd been passed over already. He fills Tsunade in on what he'd been trying to encourage Sasuke to do, but the kid seemed just too impatient. Tsunade shrugs and tells him that Sasuke had just spent the whole day channeling chakra to prove his worth to her. That doesn't sound like the actions of an impatient brat. Jiraiya tells her it's just as well, since he found Sakura. Stopping mid-sentence, Jiraiya realizes that Minato flashed him away without resolving the conversation with Sakura. He wonders if she just waited for him to return, because he obviously never did. But he goes on to say how invested she seemed in learning a trick or two from him. Meanwhile, how Naruto found his way to Orochimaru, neither of them could guess. And why Orochimaru decided to help him in any capacity was also stunning. He hadn't taken a Leaf student under his wing since Anko, so why would he choose to take the Hokage's kid as a student? Tsunade suggests Orochimaru is just bored. He was so energetic upon being chosen to lead the Jonin into war, and that energy collapsed upon learning the war was delayed by the Chunin exams. So maybe he's just doing this to fill the time? Some silence falls between them before Jiraiya gives Tsunade a playful grin and asks if she's up for betting on the matches. Grinning back, she asks how much he's willing to lose. After several long minutes of careful chakra exertion and calculated hand seals, the young master finally finishes her work on Naruto. He's broken out in a sweat already, and struggles to sit up when she leans away from him. She tells him that as the reinforcement seal gets weaker, the Reaper Death Seal will regain some of its former strength. But she doesn't have intimate knowledge on that particular seal. As a result, she's not likely able to restore the Reaper Death Seal fully. Therefore, Naruto will be safer, but still at risk of the fox's attempted escapes. Conversely, she doesn't think the fox can break free. Just as much as the Reaper Death Seal is powerful for humans, it's equally mysterious to the fox. It's not the kind of jail that can just be overpowered and broken open. So the consequences will be somewhere in the middle, as the fox takes occasional control of Naruto. But he can take actions to curb these outbursts. Additionally, he should note a considerable uptick in his ability to control his own chakra. It will come incrementally as they make further progress on weakening the seal. But she thinks the added control will also make it easier for him to resist the fox. It's a win-win, but a painful journey to that point. Naruto tells them he'll be back tomorrow so they can do the next step, but again, he's shot down. The young master tells him that until his chakra is fully rebalanced and recuperated, they can't risk going further. So really, they're beholden to Naruto's recovery time more than anything else. Naruto insists that they can do the next step now and just save on time. Minato sighs and tells Naruto that his health comes first, and he'll see if he can't figure out a solution to their Chunin exam's problem. Panting, without doing anything, Naruto tells him no. He's already gotten to phase 3 without the Flying Raijin. This is something he needs to achieve with his own strength. Even if he has to attend slightly crippled, he'd rather do that and lose than to concede altogether. Aki chuckles at his drive while unable to stand on his own. He tells him that they'd do the second step now if he could handle it, but he's clearly exhausted. Naruto turns to him and asks if he were exhausted, would he be able to do this, and holds his arm out. His sleeve rustles suddenly as the wind sheath wraps around his arm. It's not as violent as previously, but the fact that he can still conjure it at all impresses everyone in the tent. Minato grins at him, patting his shoulder and whispering, "That's my boy." The young master tells him that he shouldn't be able to control his chakra, let alone conjure such a jutsu. She looks sideways at Aki, curious as to the grand potential of Naruto. Orochimaru stands behind Minato and he's staring intensely at Naruto. Where the boy learned such a complex jutsu wasn't a mystery, but that he was able to makes Orochimaru realize the kid's potential. From his angle, Naruto looks just like Minato when he was a boy. Snarling, Orochimaru turns and leaves the tent. Lifting Naruto into a piggyback, Minato tells them they'll return once Naruto's fully rested, at which point there will be other discussions they need to have. Outside, Orochimaru runs into Tsunade and Jiraiya, who turn to him with a grin. He asks them what they're wasting their time on now, and they prod him to place his own bets on the matches. He tells them that there are Jinchuriki present, and based on which one seems to be the least stable, Gaara will probably win. Tsunade shrugs and says Shino is of the Aburame clan, and Orochimaru is too quick to dismiss. Staring at her, Orochimaru eventually sighs and places his own bets, but only as long as they don't correlate with Jiraiya's picks. Punching Orochimaru in the shoulder, Jiraiya laughs that now he has a reason to train Sakura harder than ever. Tsunade thinks about Sasuke and what she can accomplish in just 2 weeks with him. Glancing back at the tent, Orochimaru becomes annoyed that Naruto may not even fight. He tells them that Naruto might be disqualified because of this, which means the Hyuga kid will probably end up fighting Sakura. Jiraiya loses his smile at the prospect and asks Tsunade if he can change his bet. She snaps at him for trying to bet against the kid he's training and tells him betting is closed. Exiting the tent at last, Minato's surprised to see the Sannin chatting away. He tells them they're dismissed for now, since the Uzumaki Clan will take care of Naruto's seal issues. From his back, Naruto points at some kids manipulating puppets and says it's just like that San guy. Minato's perturbed at this. Puppeteering is a secret belonging to the Land of Wind. Does that mean they traded that secret technique for something else they wanted from the Uzumaki clan? Like one of their seals, perhaps? Why would Rasa want something like a seal? He tells Naruto to keep quiet and focus on resting as he walks through the village towards town. And that's the end of the episode. I know, there's so much mystery between now and Phase 3, which starts next episode. And I also know that these in-between episodes are just world building and secret building and whatever else. So there's not a lot of action. But keep in mind that I need times like this to introduce characters or build the personalities of others. Since Orochimaru has a fundamentally different opinion of the village here, he never had a conflict with Jiraiya. So as serious as he always seems to be, I still see him begrudgingly taking part in the goofiness of his friends, even if he's not goofy through it himself. And of course, if Naruto doesn't make it for the Chunin tournament, that'll pit Neji against Sakura, which is less than ideal for our pink-haired heroine. Whatever it is that Shino, Rock Lee, Neji, or Tenten learned in this time will be on full display during their fights, so worry not, they haven't just stopped existing in this time. But I suppose I'll be able to sooner work on the next episode the sooner I end this one. As always, the sky's the limit.